Island's nice, so nice. Sure. I'm so proud to be from the VI, a place of history like the African side, yeah. St. Thomas and St. John and St. Good morning. I just want to say good morning to the U.S. Virgin Islands. Good morning to everyone. And I'm talking about St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, Water Island. Good morning. You know, this morning is, of course, every morning is a good morning for me, even if the weather was overcast. We had a serious overcast in the U.S. Virgin Islands over the course of the weekend. I guess it started from Friday. Friday was light. But Saturday, we had a lot of rains. And Sunday, again, in the morning, bright and early, we had a lot of rain early morning. So I know for many of you out there, rain interrupted your work flow. But that's how it is. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of residents of the Virgin Islands are glad and happy for the water in their cisterns. Because here in the Virgin Islands, some of us catch water in the cistern, and not all of us benefit from the public water system where we have access to public water. So I just want to thank, and we say thank God, you know, for the little sprinkles, because after all, I believe it was a blessing for the U.S. Virgin Islands. And of course, our neighbor islands as well, who enjoy a lot of that, a lot of the ambience, and of course the rain that allows for vegetation to flourish. Starting out this morning, I just wanted to back up a little bit and provide some updates to you guys. You know, the COVID-related deaths in the Virgin Islands, I'm not sure what the number of active cases are this morning, but I believe we have exceeded 100 deaths in the Virgin Islands at this time, and we could only hope that this somewhat subsides, because it's not an easy thing. You know, it's not an easy thing to endure, having a family one that contracted, and of course unexpected. It's just a sad situation with this COVID that's terrorizing the lives of so many families, so many people. And I know that the world count, well, not the world count, but the United States count have exceeded, I believe, 900,000 deaths, and seem to be approaching with this Omicron variant that is out there. They seem to be approaching the million number mark, and that's really sad. And you know, while I'm talking about that, I wanted to just offer some condolences to some families, and let me start with one person that I happen to know personally, and I kind of want to dedicate this program this morning to her, and that's on the island of St. Croix. You know, Miss Eunice Tramberg, who I have known for a long time, you know, from the time she had Pier 69, even before that. And I used to call her mom, you know, and it's really sad. I understand that she passed, and I wanted to extend the condolences to the entire family. You know, Miss Tramberg, there's a beautiful article in the paper this morning, you know, had a love affair. She had a love affair with her adopted home, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and that is true. She had established many relationships in the community, and to see her participation, the level of her participation in all the different, from nonprofit organizations, really to even trying to build the Frederickstead and give it some excitement with Pier 69 and a lot of things that she attempted to do. She's going to be sorely missed. I can tell you that, because she was so close to so many families on St. Croix, but of course not only on St. Croix, on St. Thomas as well. I have extended families over here, and I wanted to extend my condolences to Lorenzo, to Gina, to the entire family, to the in-laws, everyone this morning, because it's, like I said, it's never a good thing to lose a loved one. And I wish you guys, I hope you guys are comforted in knowing that she made her contributions. And moving along, I wanted to also extend condolences to the family of Beverly M. Clendenin, Glenn Alfredo Sproul Sr., Luther Ferdinand Dorbeck, and Eileen Fleming. Condolences to all those families, because as I said, it's never a pleasant thing to lose a loved one, and I know how hard it can be to overcome such an ordeal, an experience of losing a loved one. Moving along, I read last week an article again with this Jeffrey Epstein saga that doesn't seem to be going away. And now I'm learning that it's getting closer and closer to our shores. So I guess the residents of the Virgin Islands we're going to have our own saga down here, because Ghislaine Maxwell has requested a retrial in one instance and identified one of the jurors that her attorneys and herself, I guess, claimed that was abused individuals, and they may have tainted or they may have prejudiced the entire case. So whether or not the higher court is going to grant her a retrial, the question is the Black Book. Because in that article, again, they raised this issue of this Black Book. And I think the people of the Virgin Islands should want to know what's in that Black Book that the court, New York court, and many journalists continue to allude to about this Black Book, the names. And they're saying that it's supposed to be hundreds of names in this Black Book to include people here in the Virgin Islands. I'm curious, and I would like to see the Black Book myself, to see the number of names that are in there, because it's going to be interesting. There's already been an argument established that what he did in the Virgin Islands and how he was able to benefit from a tax shelter here in the Virgin Islands, and then they're speaking about the laundering of money, and he could not have done this without enablers, people that actually empowered him, people that actually provided him with the vehicle to be able to conduct business the way that he was conducting business. I'm curious to see the names that are in that Black Book. And I believe that there should be some extensive investigation here in the U.S. Virgin Islands to determine the depth of damage to the people of the Virgin Islands and our coffers, the Treasury. But that's going to be an issue that I'm sure that many of us are curious to know exactly what transpired. And while I'm talking about that, I wanted to skip over slightly on crime. Crime here in the U.S. Virgin Islands. But over the weekend, I saw something extremely interesting, and it happened in Belize. And there's a parallel between, there's some similarities in terms of culture, in terms of makeup, in terms of the environment between Belize and the U.S. Virgin Islands, and being both territories. I saw an article coming out of Belize with an individual that I thought was quite interesting, because, crime has elevated here in the Virgin Islands. And of course, when we're sending off a loved one, we always want to send them off in peace. And, you know, a loved one person deceased, we refer to them as someone the dead. And interesting, in Belize, there was an issue, a situation with I believe a young man by the name of, I'm trying to remember his name, Tanga. And I have a recording just from that, and then I'm going to dive into the relationship and hoping that we're able to offset certain activities from even finding its way into the U.S. Virgin Islands. And I'm going to let this speak for itself in terms of Tanga's burial that I wanted to play. And for those of you listening, can actually hear, you know, the narrative that is being provided by a reporter all the way in Belize. And then for you, those of you who may be able to view it on Facebook, can see for yourself just exactly the physical things that took place with this particular burial. And, you know, we always want the dead to be respected. And I'm quickly reminded, years ago, I remember some gentlemen robbed the Catholic Church. Now, you would figure that the church is sacred. The church is one thing that you don't want to mess with, because that's like the closest you're going to get to assaulting God. And for anyone to go in a church, and years ago there was some guys that robbed the Holy Family Church out in the country. And in robbing the Holy Family Church, I don't know if they realize that that is a curse that you're bringing upon yourself, to actually rob the church and rob four older ladies, elderly ladies that were in the church, from taking their jewelry to taking their purses to taking everything. I don't believe today that those young men who are young adults are around today. It is my understanding that one ended up incarcerated for a long time. The other one died in a car accident, and there were just different things that transpired with those individuals. But it just goes to show you that you would figure that certain places are sacred. But I want to navigate to this particular situation that happened in Belize with a young man that was buried, and some robbers went and robbed even the dead. And that I found to be quite interesting. So I'm going to go there so you could. Welcome the girls, them sugar. The girl, them ladies.
He was the street figure who was sought in death as he was in life, as the grave of the man that the nation came to know as Tanga was broken into less than a day after he was laid to rest. Winston James was gunned down as he drove along West Canal on Friday, January 21st. He was buried on Saturday with a whole lot of cash and jewelry placed in the casket, as the event aired live on Facebook. And 8 hours later, grave robbers broke into the tomb and stole the money and items. Andrew Munnings of Munnings Funeral Services and Live Events and Designs shared the disturbing discovery via a live post on Facebook on Sunday, and said that with permission from the Ministry of Health, they exhumed the casket to see the damage that had been done.
Upon arriving here just now, we realized that the bricks that we had placed there was not the original bricks that we had sent, which truly means automatically we realized that the tomb was tampered with. The flowers that was inside the tomb was now outside the tomb. So upon opening the tomb, we realized that the casket was not placed how we placed it. So we opened the casket and all jewelry all the cash that was set on Tanga yesterday, someone came in the course of last night and early this morning to rob Tanga of all his belongings.
The thieves, who spotted a police mobile in the area, reportedly fled the scene, and the police department's communication director, Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood, says that the police could not establish if anything was stolen at that time. Nonetheless, the officer urges the family to file an official report of the tomb robbery so that they can investigate.
We would encourage some relative or maybe even the undertaker to come and make a complaint to the police. Of course, we are not ignoring the fact that police officers did respond to a call of disturbance sometime after 2 a.m. yesterday, Sunday the 30th. Our officers, when arriving at the scene at the cemetery, they saw some people running away from that area. If you're familiar with that cemetery, you would know that if the officers entered via vehicle, they would hear and see the police coming from a distance. So those persons made good their escape.
While the family members are hoping that the jewelry items will show up at pawn shops for traceability, they had to endure the pain of the vandalism and robbery after they were called out to the cemetery on Sunday, and they decided to remove all remaining valuables from the casket. Worse than that, however, was that they had to bury their loved one a second time. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Just, it's just unfortunate that this hurricane season, we still have a number of people out there with their rooftop totally compromised. And I'm sure that many Virgin Islanders see it as you traverse round the island, people still with these blue tops, tarpaulins on their rooftops. And it's just a sad situation that today, we're in 2022, January 2022. The hurricanes took place in 2017. That's 4 years. And when you look at the percentage of persons who actually received any type of assistance, you probably could count them on one hand. And when you look at the number of homes in the Virgin Islands that are damaged, because I can go out and do a spot check and share with you and count them. It's just sad that there's so many folks out there still without any assistance. And that's really disheartening. And I'm sure that the appropriate parties are listening, and they would maybe this could provoke something to the extent that they start to operate a little bit more vigilantly. Because as it stands right now, I know I can name persons or individuals who have homes that were compromised, submitted their application, waited for a number of years before they could even receive correspondence giving them a status update. So you get a status update, but then you wait another year, 2 years for something to actually happen. Is the process so stringent now that folks are either being disqualified or folks just are not receiving any assistance because they claim they're not following up with support documents? What is it? Because at the end of the day, what happens to all that money that was designated for the Virgin Islands that go unspent? What happens? Do they ask for a waiver and they redirect the money somewhere else? I seriously doubt that. Does the money go back? I believe that that's a possibility. So if the money goes back, then that tells you that there's a level of incompetence that the money would go back. And you know, the territory have been receiving over the years a significant amount of federal funds. And it's our ability to provide strategic plans to spend the money that determines if the money is going to be spent and spent adequately. If we're not getting this, and I understand about trashes, I understand about all that stuff as it relates to under the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority and even over to the Virgin Islands Housing Authority, that there's the number of apartments that we had in the Virgin Islands had dwindled. Thank God for the private apartments, even to serve as Airbnb to make sure that there's accommodations when people come into the Virgin Islands. So I am not sure what's going on with that and why the program has been stymied, but it's just one of those situations that we have to be just cognizant of what is taking place and see if there is even a way that we can kind of prod the respective parties, prod the respective agencies, prod the administration to act accordingly to make sure that, you know, folks are receiving a level of assistance. Because as it stands now, I'm hearing people calling, and I'm surprised that the calls haven't started to come in this morning. One person, I believe, sent a message on Facebook indicating that they can't get through. Okay, a call is coming in now, so let me go to the telephone line. Good morning, you on the air, connect the dots.
Listen, good morning. I'm going back to your original topics about grave robbing.
Yeah.
It's really nothing new. It's an awful thing. But when you go back to the Egyptian mummies, When
Yeah.
a lot of those graves were found, they had been plundered and robbed. And the gold and everything that was buried with these Egyptian kings and queens
Yeah.
were taken. So it goes back hundreds and maybe thousands of years. It's nothing new, but it's awful.
Okay.
But it's okay.
And you got a good, interesting point, because you see it in movies. There's been series on television with the ancient
Yeah.
Aztecs and all of them where they actually did that.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, even with the situation going back in history, the situation with Botany Bay. Botany Bay,
Yeah.
portions of Botany Bay was considered a burial site for the Carib Indians. And those Carib Indians believed in those rituals where they bury the dead with jewelry,
Yeah.
whether it was chains, whatever they valued.
Whatever they had, they put it in there with them for the afterlife. When they come back to life again, they would have these things. Was their thinking, I believe.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Any law. You know, it exists under any law. It's just one of those things that we don't really. I'm sure that many of you, just the thought of it, is just something that you would not like to live that experience where they're robbing your loved one grave. And as a caller shared earlier, I didn't even realize that that they were doing this in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's amazing. It's really, really amazing. And it's, if this is actually taking place, then the authority needs to start to look into it, and maybe even with these grave sites that we have here in the Virgin Islands, that there's some level of security that is provided in place, you know, that's provided in place to ensure that people's loved ones are protected from vandalism, are protected from ultimately vandalism, robbery. But I have never heard that other things was taking place here in the U.S. Virgin Islands with that type of stuff. But I guess it's just a common situation in many, many places. I just brought up the one with Tanga over there in Belize because I felt that they have similarities. See if they could hear now. And it's really unfortunate. It's really, really unfortunate. But moving along even with some of the other stuff that I wanted to discuss is, you know, what can we expect here in the Virgin Islands? I mean, I had asked the other morning if persons wanted to call in and share the good about the U.S. Virgin Islands, because I don't want to elaborate only on what needs to be corrected. We need to also talk about what is good. And this morning I want persons or callers to share what's on their mind. I mean, education, health care, road repairs, unemployment, mass transit. Share with us what exactly is on your mind. Because I believe it's important that you draw to the attention pros and cons of anything that is existing, but in particular, of course, when things are good, there's no reason to draw attention to it because it's not something that is adversely affecting you. And something that is adversely affecting you is almost like an agitation. Whether it's bad roads, you get agitated because you're driving on your way to work in an early morning and you land in a pothole. That's agitating. That's annoying. And of course, ultimately, it could be costly that you have to repair your car, whether it's the CV joints or something else on the front end or back end of your car that should be damaged as a result of going into a pothole. It could be health care. The other morning or the other day, I shared with the public the experience of a person that went to the hospital for health care, and he just applauded them for how hospitable they were, how professional they were in taking care of him and administering even the booster shot that he received. And you know, those are good things to hear along the way. But this morning, it's open discussion. It's your airwaves this morning. For those of you who care to call in and care to share with us your perspective on anything. The number again to call here is 340-774-1340 here at WSTA, Lucky 13. So moving along, of course, I think I was speaking earlier, and I included that among the things to discuss in terms of the roofing home repair program, because I was approached by a lady at Cost You Less the other evening when I went there, stopped in just to buy a few items, and she sounded like she was very stressed out and in complete distress because she claimed that she was without any roof under a blue top now from 2017 until now. And you could only wonder what is affecting the approval, the execution of that project. And I think that is just but one example of the many, many individuals that just are going or headed into another hurricane season. I can't imagine to be going through a hurricane season. I'm done. For many of you that have lived the experience, know that it was quite traumatizing. I would like to interview someone in the profession of counseling, offering some kind of therapy for those who experience PTSD. Because I'm quite sure there's a lot of persons, those same people who rooftops were blown off, could be living with PTSD right now, and we don't even know. And they don't even know until they feel that there's a need to go get diagnosed. I know an individual right now that the sign of slight rain or thunder, especially thunder, they get hysterical, nervous, can't sleep. There's a lot of people can't sleep hearing any kind of thunder. But you know, it's just something that we need to really be cognizant of. And for those of you out there who have lived certain experiences, don't feel ashamed to reach out to the appropriate parties and find out if in fact there is you know, there is something that is bothering you, something that is affecting you. If you need therapy, you need therapy. If you need assistance, you need assistance. Get it, because it's not something nice. And like I said, you know, just going into this next hurricane season and hearing the stories of people who have lived that past experience and to know that their homes have not made any significant progress in terms of their home repairs, any assistance from the government. It's just I just can't imagine, because I'm not living under those conditions. I did live through 2 hurricanes, window blown in, wind coming straight through the house flooded out, but the roof didn't leave us, and there wasn't significant damage or damage that could be compared to what a lot of people lived. I was just in Old Tutu yesterday driving over the hill, and I saw the same blue tops again. Let me go to the telephone line. Good morning, you're on the air. Connect the dots.
Hi, good morning. This goes back with ditched grave robbing.
Yeah.
I have a twin brother that was 206 national military graves in the States. I'm not talking tombstones. I'm talking about ditch digging for the metals off the corpse.
Yeah.
He and I never got along. I'm 53, and he is we're the only set of twins I've ever met in my whole life that do not ever got along. My oldest brother and I no longer talk. We parted family because my oldest brother said that, well, what else are they going to do with him? 5 indictments. My twin brother's name is the only one that remained the same and first. 4 other different people on each indictment. So what is that? 20 other different people? What was he doing? Recruiting too? You know this, excuse the language, but the SOB is already out of prison in States.
Oh.
And even our papa's grave. And this hurts my heart, but I cannot help myself. This is wrong. It's immoral, and my twin brother's dangerous, and I won't deal with him. Yeah. And I just think that's totally wrong, and there should be a law against that. And I'm not talking tombstones. The only thing the reason he got busted was because he never put the dirt back in. So, anyway, thank you.
Well, thanks. Yeah. Thanks for calling.
This hurts my heart.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for calling. Yeah, those experiences that people live, I mean, it's I've always said as a public official, and I think I've said this many times before, as a public official, at times you could become desensitized with the number of people coming to you for assistance. And if you're not careful, you tend to generalize things, or you tend to lose sensitivity to each individual situation. And that's where you have to be cognizant of that. Good morning, you're on the air. Connect the dots.
Good morning, Fonzie.
Good morning.
Thank you for bringing up this program this morning. My name is Margaret Price, and after the 2 hurricanes in 2017, we formed a group, DCM, at which I became chairperson eventually. That was Disaster Case Management. We've now restructured, and it's called COED. And what we did then, we had FEMA fly-in volunteers. We had a place set up for them to stay. They were given a stipend, and they went out and put on roofs, did the interior, everything. And as a result, we were responsible for putting on at least 300-something roofs. Now what we're doing is we're in recovery stage, and I have clients, elderly and disabled. All you have to do is call me, and we'll come out there and look at your place and see what needs to be done. And then we'll go to what we call our unmet needs table. At the unmet needs table, if they give the go-ahead, then we do the work. The person is not responsible for it.
Yeah.
So if they want my number, my name is Margaret Price. This is for the elderly and the disabled. It's area code 340-228-6783. Again, 340-228-6783. You call me, Margaret Price. We'll have someone come out, assess everything, and then we'll go to the unmet table, tell them, take pictures and everything, and then we'll determine whether or not we're able to do it. And so far, we're still doing roofs and things for the elderly and everything. And if you need tarps, because those tarps are only supposed to be up there for 30 days. If you need tarps, let me know so that I can get you tarps also.
Okay. Well, I'm quite sure the public is listening, and that's good for you to share. I consider that to be valuable information. Thank you.
You're welcome. And one last thing is that we're also promoting community gardens, and we've already started several. So if you're interested in that, also call.
Okay, good to hear that, because, you know, I always advocated that when I was in the Senate. Community gardens.
Yes. And we got several going now.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you have a wonderful day. Yes, community gardens. That's another issue. You know, I remember while I was a senator, getting kids and trying to promote and get young people involved in doing gardening in a lot of instances, and it's just good to hear that there's people out there that advocate the same thing, because I think it goes a long way. It includes, and it could potentially serve as beautifying. You know, talking about beautification, I heard that a group was involved, interested in beautifying the waterfront, and they mentioned bougainvillea between all those palm trees. I'm not sure that would be the right plant, but who knows? It might just be a sight and something beautiful. Good morning. You're on the air. Connect the dots.
Yes, good morning, Senator Donaldson. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
And two things about that thing with the cemetery issue.
Sure, go ahead.
The only thing that I ever heard closest to that was that a woman's husband told her that when he died, to bury all of his money in the casket with him.
Yeah.
And what she did was she wrote him a check and she put a check in the casket. So
I don't mean to laugh under the circumstances, but that's funny.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. Anyway, I'm calling to about the home improvement program. I am a senior citizen. Well, more than a senior citizen, I'm almost an elderly person, and I have a home that was my only source of supplemental income, and that home still has a top on it. I qualified for the program, and the last thing that I had heard was that they were having difficulties with a contracting management team that they had hired, and that they had to switch lanes and try to hire someone else because that particular team didn't work out. I am now in distress mode because another hurricane season is at hand, and only God can tell you how nervous I am about that and how distressing it is not to have the finances that you need to survive on. And as my only supplemental income, not only one, but besides my pension, it helped me to live comfortably and not to have to worry about things. Having to worry now is causing my blood pressure to go sky high and everything else. And I really wonder if you know what the status is of this management team, why it wasn't selected, when do they have another one in view, and all that stuff. But before you answer that, I need to ask a question. Is this a political year?
Yes. Yes, it's a political year.
Oh, Lord. Okay. I wonder if this thing is being detained for that purpose. I don't know. I pray to God that it's not the situation, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But if you can find out anything for those of us who are a part of this Envision program who are qualified and not getting anywhere, it would be appreciated. I'm going to hang up now so that you can answer me, okay?
Okay.
God bless you and continue to do what you're doing. God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You know, that home repair program, of course, there was a company that was contracted, and that company was contracted to actually assist residents with, entertaining applications and have a whole platform and a process in place for them to be able to receive the assistance that the money was intended for, and that's for home repairs. I don't know what happened with that company, and I'm not going to call the name of the company. I'm going to do here's what I'm going to do for my listeners. I'm going to do a little bit of due diligence and find out what is the status of the program right now, what happened to the initial company, what the initial company was able to produce, what the initial company left behind, whether there's anything pending, and moving forward, what's the new plan, strategic plan that is in place to really aid residents who are in distress, residents who are displaced, the residents who have homes that were compromised, and to include those who have tops on their roof still. And it's amazing, because if you provided, you would figure that there would be some level of urgency. Urgency in that a top is only supposed to be on a rooftop. I thought it was 90 days, but a caller shared is 30 days. But anyway, let me go to the telephone line. Good morning, you're on the air. Connect the dots.
Good morning. One question I was wondering. We have a lot of contractors on this island, right?
Yeah.
And if I have a contractor who is willing to do the work under the housing program, why am I not allowed to do it, as long as everything is that I meet all the requirements and everything is done in the proper order? You understand? Rather than waiting for and being turned down because this and that. Give the contractors in the Virgin Islands a specific bonding so they could get into this program. And you could say, this is my contractor. Once he's finished and everything is done correctly to the feds, you sign off on it and you move on to another contractor. Why are you rolling up to have a specific group of contractors and there's all kind of problems? If I can go ahead with my contractor, allow me to do so.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's legal or not, but it makes more sense than holding up everybody when, many people in the Virgin Islands deal with a specific contractor. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Thanks for calling. That caller has a valid point. And if they feel that those contractors are not qualified, whether they don't meet a certain threshold when it comes to bonding, or they don't have proper certification, then assist the contractors as well. Start inviting them in to register, list their companies, and try to get them or help them to meet the requirements. But this thing can't continue. Oh, sorry, I missed the call. The caller was just calling in. We are going to have to be creative. And when I say creative, I simply mean in adjusting whatever platform you have for the purpose of really trying to reach these folks. Good morning, you're on the air. Connect the dots.
Senator Donald Stokes.
Good morning.
Good morning. You see what the lady was just talking about?
Yeah.
Getting local contractors involved?
Yeah.
That only goes to show you, if you could see, even in situations like this, they don't value local opinions or involvement in anything. That makes so much sense.
Yes.
But they need to have whoever it is they hire up certain type of people to approve and do whatever supposed to be done. That if it's such a case, the money will go to somebody else that's going to go away, something like that.
Yeah.
And so to speak, there's people that coming in or they could bring in supposed to be able to do a better job than the local one. And that went on when Hugo happened, and maybe after Maryland.
Yeah.
And the trend and the pattern got to be always the same. The local guy probably ain't good enough.
Yeah.
For whatever it is.
But I don't recall it.
People.
Yeah, but I don't recall it ever being this bad. Because remember, after Hurricane Marilyn, I believe during Marilyn or after Marilyn, that was during the Governor Snyder era. Look at the roofing. Look at the roofing program that took place and how vigilant and how fast it was. A lot of people was receiving assistance. I'm not sure. Go ahead.
No, but I was saying, Governor Snyder, as much as people criticize him, and he had his fault like everybody else, he was a man of authority.
Yeah.
That's one thing I did like about him. And he probably put things in place for things to happen. And maybe was concerned to get certain things done. That one who was there at that time, I don't know what was going on. I could tell you a situation with myself. I had a container with some things in it. The hurricane come and damage the container. They told you to go and apply with FEMA for whatever assistance you get. Yeah, I would have think that as the person in charge, maybe could have deployed the different agency if FEMA decide they're not going to do this or they're not going to do that. Just to secure my stuff and to move them someplace that they won't be looted or whatever, right? And I get a letter back when I went to the FEMA and apply. A letter back say I ain't qualified for nothing. My stuff end up being stolen and this kind of thing. I would have think that the thing maybe to do would have been I could have, even if they said certain rules change, for me to secure whatever I have left, I could have get a voucher. They could do something where I could have get them moved to a storage or someplace more secure, and I wouldn't have that problem. But here it is. You get a letter back from the governor office saying you ain't not qualified for anything, just like that. Not to that, well, we came and we look and we investigate and what your concern was and how we could address our problem, what you could do, what we could do. You know, if I would have could have paid them back just to give me the service, whether through public works or whoever.
Yeah.
They was on top of something like that. And, you know, that was the case. So like I said, when it comes to that thing with getting local any kind of assistance in a crisis when you need help. After a hurricane, people might need a bucket of water, a tank of water, whatever it is, cleaning something to clean.
Yeah.
You don't tell them, well, they got to go through this and go through a red tape and whatever. You provide a way for them to have access to meet the need for that time. It's an emergency. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
To get the local people involved, I mean, it's a system or something where other people maybe could do better than you, or whatever is supposed to benefit the local somebody else, it could benefit somebody else. Thank you for letting me speak, Senator Benson.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. You know, just to piggyback on what the caller just shared, it's sad to see that when you announce publicly, and I'm talking about public announcement that the administration made, $5.6 billion for the Virgin Islands. What is the real problem? Are you saying that we don't have all the resources or the skills in the Virgin Islands? I disagree with that. There's a lot of skills here in the Virgin Islands. I mean, if you had left it up to me, I would have gotten one of those public buses, whether we have to buy it, rent it, or whatever, paint it over, and write on the bus job opportunities. Drive it around into all those neighborhoods, to the housing communities, to Anna's Retreat, Bordeaux, Cowan Terrace. Drive the bus through. In St. Croix, you go through Kennedy, go through all the neighborhoods them. Job opportunities. Interview them. Let them fill out applications right there on the bus. Start trying to assist them. Start trying to improve your skill inventory. Because there are a lot of people here. You have folks, you have people who left, who was, incarcerated, that are some good carpenters. You name it and they could do it. And we're not maximizing that. It's not about putting ads out and hiring companies to do public relations and marketing and branding or whatever, and trying to get a message out there for people to come into offices. There's a lot of these young men are not going to come into the offices, not because they don't feel that they're fit to come to the office. It's because they feel that coming to the office will be of no help. We got to start reaching them. Start going out into the communities and reaching them. Let them fill out applications. Give them some direction. And I'm sure that you would see that the level of skills in the Virgin Islands, that inventory of individual with skills, will start to raise its head, and you will start to see numbers coming in. But this thing with no movement at all. I mean, the last audit said that we lack capacity. If we lack capacity, we lack capacity in the respect of handling the funds. So that's stage, if you want to call it stage one, that's stage one. So we got to figure out how we're going to manage all those funds. When you contract companies like BOD or BDO, Witt O'Brien, managing all these major projects and making millions of dollars, and you take the amount of money expended to these companies versus the amount of money that the residents actually received in this specific area, you would see the amount distributed to the residents pale in comparison to what these companies are receiving. And then you look at the makeup of the companies that is supposed to fill the void. You're contracting all these companies, but yet still you're not getting the kind of results that Virgin Islanders should be receiving. Virgin Islanders are not witnessing a fair distribution. It's all around us. We could just look and see. So we're back here talking about it every single day, that we're not seeing any significant progress in these other areas where people genuinely need the assistance, and we're not seeing it. And I'm just a voice for some of those that are voiceless, because there's a lot of individuals out there that will not take the time out to come on the radio and express themselves in any way, because that's not what they're made of. So they expect for some of us to be able to come out here and speak on their behalf. But I've exhausted the hour, and I just want to thank my sponsors real quick. Those who support me day in, day out. Catch of the Day, which is located on Cookie Point Beach. Fine Print Consulting Services, and the First Stop Gas Station, who continues to support the program. And, just stepping back a little bit to catch of the day on Cookie Point. You need to go down there and witness what I witness just about every Saturday, Sunday, sometime even during the week. The fresh catch of the day. Fish, lobster, conch, you name it, and they got it down there. I just love that conch and butter sauce. And don't forget Douchy there on the side, which Rob also have witnessed Douchy and the oxtail every Monday morning. Douchy, I ain't forgetting you on my way. Anyway, I wanted to close out the program and just telling folks that, stand firm, stay strong, be positive, look forward to a brighter horizon. Because after all, these challenges, we are not the only ones confronted with challenges. We got the double whammy. A pandemic on the heel of recovering from 2 Category 5 hurricanes. And, we say often, God help us. God help us. And we pray every day because that's what Virgin Islanders are made of. If it's one thing, they're God-fearing. They may not all be Christians, but we're God-fearing. And being God-fearing, I just want to close out on a positive note in saying that I want each and every one of you to have a productive day and a blessed week. So until next Monday, same time, same place, is Connect the Dots, Adela Fonsi Store, your host, every Monday from 10 to 11 a.m. So see you next Monday. It's Catch of the Day. From the water to the pot to your mouth, everything is fresh at Catch of the Day, located on Cookie Point Beach. Enjoy some of your favorite seafood dishes. Fresh catch, lobster, conch, and whelks, when in season, as well as surf and turf. They cater to your wishes. While you sit and wait for your food, enjoy the friendly bar and bask in the ambience that is second to none. Enjoy the white sand, sun, and crystal blue water. We are sure the experience will be unique. Monday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come and enjoy Catch of the Day on Cookie Point Beach.